And it's these insanely high gas prices. They're draining my bank account. I can't afford to drive anymore.
Dude, don't walk. Just do what I do because I never pay full price for gas anymore. I use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Oh, wait. You're telling me you get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PAID for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code PAID. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PAID for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PAID.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Hey there, everybody. Bob Baumhauer here, letting you know that we understand that times are tough and we truly believe value matters. So, by popular demand, we brought back our Inflation Bites menu featuring scratch-made meals that will make the whole family smile, and your wallet, too. Menu items start at just $7.99, and any entree comes with a free beverage. Try our classic tailgate burger for just $8.99, or our hearty Bam Bam chicken platter for $9.99. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Hey Huntsville, looking for action-packed events? The Huntsville Sports Commission is your hub for all things sports. From youth events to national tournaments, we've got events that thrill and inspire. Whether you're an athlete, a fan, or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. Are those new school clothes wearing out that old washer and dryer? Well, it's time to get off the bus at Owen Home Appliance Center and learn what a new Speed Queen washer can do for you. They're in stock and are ready for delivery now. At Owen Home Appliance Center, quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's right there in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center. 2 locations to serve you, Highway 36 in Somerville and the interactive location at Highway 231 in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away, but my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
2 nights of high school football this week with Westminster Christian Academy. Thursday, taking on Hatton. That's on Zone 5 on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Well, we've only got an hour to do this today, and we're live here from Baumhauer's Victory Grill, walking you up to Hey Coach, the Kalen DeBoer Show, and we've got just way too much to get to. He's Wes Neighbors. I'm Steve Moulton. Brian Temple back at the studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Appreciate you listening here on your ride home, and we've got a lot to get to, including right here out of the gate. How are you, Wes Neighbors?
Doing good. Good to be here. Back at Baumhauer.
There is nothing wrong with being here at Baumhauer's. There is, we've had a lot of great guests here on this program, and our next guest ranks right up there with one of our favorite guests to talk to, as Barbara Dooley is kind enough to join us here on what is a big game week for Alabama, Georgia. How are you doing this evening, ma'am? Are you there, Miss Dooley?
You know, I'm going to see if I can find her. Hang on.
Okay. All right. Barbara Dooley is scheduled to join us right now. So hopefully we can talk a little Alabama, Georgia from her perspective. Of course, her husband, his first big upset win was beating some guy named Bryant.
1976. Only Southeastern Conference game. I think no, that's not right.
They won it 18-17.
Right.
That'd be Georgia.
That was the only year Alabama didn't win the conference.
Really?
The 70s.
The 60s. It was 63.
Oh, okay. I was wrong. I thought, the other time Georgia beat Alabama was in 76.
That's right, too. That's right.
And that was the only year, I think, in the 70s that Alabama didn't win the conference.
All right, we got Miss Barbara back on the line.
Miss Barbara, how are you this evening, ma'am?
I am great, watching the rain start coming in and wondering just how much rain we're going to get. But I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Man, it is great to hear your voice. I mean, I know you've been a traveling woman as well here the last couple of years, because I know there for a minute you went over to Paris.
I was in Paris, and I was in Rome, and I actually had an audience with the Pope.
Of course you did.
What did he ask you?
Oh, man.
I leaned over to kiss his ring, and I said, "Would you marry me?" He said, "I don't speak English." That's a really pitiful excuse, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I know the weather is going to be a big factor here over the next couple of days in the state, but it's we're focused on a football game coming up on Saturday in Tuscaloosa. And I know you're no stranger to Alabama, Georgia matchups.
No, I am no stranger to that. And they were tense and tedious every time we played Alabama. And there is no difference this year. The first time we played Alabama, Vince was the first-year coach at Georgia, I think it was 1964, maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
He went, it was in Tuscaloosa, and he left, and I have 3 babies under 3, so I didn't go anywhere. And he said, "I'll see you later tonight." And I said, "Okay, we're just going to beat Coach Bryant." And he said, "Oh, yeah, we are." So he came back, and we lost that night, and I think it was 33-3. They just beat the fool out of us. And when he came in the bedroom, I was asleep. And I heard him come in, and I said, Vincent, how did it go? And he just died laughing. How did it go? He said. I got killed. Well, the next year was 1965. And I'm going to tell you, that was the game of the century. Georgia and I think we beat Alabama by 1 point.
18-17.
Yep, 18. When was it? 1965.
It's 65. Right? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Have you talked about this on the air?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. I've got the funniest story. So Vincent played street football growing up in Mobile. And so anyway, he had a lot of trick plays that he played when he was a kid. But Alabama was the defending national champions that year. And with time running out, we were trailing 17-10. And Vincent called a flea flicker, which he had done in the streets of Mobile. And it was when the play call for the tight end, Pat Hodgson, to run a hook about 10 yards down the field. And Pat's job was to catch the ball and then lateral it to running back Bob Taylor, who was trailing the play. Well, Pat bobbled the ball, but somehow, I don't know how, he shoveled it back to Bob Taylor, who then ran 73 yards for a touchdown. Well,
wow.
We went for two. And Kirby Moore was our quarterback. He found Pat Hobson in the back of the end zone and hit him. And we won the game. And I have never seen the stadium erupt like it did back then. But what was so funny, I had met Coach Bryant the year before, and I was scared to death of him. And he knew I was scared to death of him. I was 23 years old. And all I'd ever heard growing up in Alabama was Bear Bryant, Bear Bryant. And I kept ignoring, I kept hearing him call Barbara, Barbara. And I kept ignoring him, thinking he isn't calling me. And finally I turned around and I said, "Sir." He said, "Come over here and give old Papa a kiss." Well, that was my first meeting with Coach Bryant. So we beat them the next year. We beat them 18-17. And we go to the coaches meeting, and all the coaches are sitting around the pool having fun after dinner. And I walk by Coach Bryant and his entourage. He always had a group around him. And I was so cocky. We had beaten him. And I went, "Hi, Bear, how you doing?" And he jumped up out of his chair and he walked over to me and pointed his finger in my face. And he said, "Young lady, I don't want you to ever forget I'm the man who's made your husband famous."
Well, and your response was?
I want to tell you that from that day on, we had a love affair. He was hilarious. And he loved women. Trust me. But we had a good time, and he was the man that made my husband famous, because after that, everybody knew who Vince Dooley was. But this game Saturday, I think, is going to be a huge problem for both teams, because they're both great, but they both got to be playing their A1 games. And we've got to be able to protect, I think, Carson Beck and give him room to pass or run and not be so rushed. And then I think I'm a nervous wreck about Jalen Milroe, who runs. He's got some legs, but he can throw too. Yeah. What do y'all think?
Yeah, there is no doubt his development. It's impressive to watch. It really is.
To me,
I know.
it's what it always comes down to normally. And that's the offensive lines. Which one plays better in this game?
That's it. Both of them have got to come out playing their A games, and I don't know who's better. Carson. Now everybody says Carson Beck will be the number 1 draft pick, but
yes, ma'am.
He's got to play better than he's done so far.
I would agree with that. Talking to Barbara Dooley right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Before you came on, Wes also mentioned the 1976 game in Athens, the 21-0 win over Georgia in what was the top 10 battle?
Over Alabama.
Alabama, yes.
Am I right in recalling that was the blackout game where everybody wore black?
I don't know about that. I don't know that for a fact, but I know blackouts have not fared well here lately for the Georgia program against Alabama.
I know, but Vince started it, and we did great with the first time against Alabama, and then it kind of fizzled out. But yeah, who was our quarterback? I'm trying to quickly think about who was our quarterback.
Oh, goodness. I don't have that handy in front of me.
Well, I just know that the railroad tracks back then, kids sat on the railroad tracks. They sat on top of the buildings, and they were packed. Like even Friday before the Saturday afternoon game, they had started bringing their couches and their chairs to the railroad tracks.
Wow.
So it was a big game. And we just took command of it, literally.
You know, Ms. Dooley, that's the only year, and Georgia won the Southeastern Conference. That was the only year in the 70s Alabama didn't win the Southeastern Conference.
I have listed as Ray Goff as the starting quarterback in 1976.
That's exactly right. Ray Goff was our quarterback. That's exactly right. Holy mackerel. Well, I'll have to tell you, when I went to one of the games in Tuscaloosa, I drove the children because Vincent did not let me go with the team. He said it was a business deal. You know, that just wasn't a deal for me to be there. So I drove the kids, and we got to Tuscaloosa, and we got in the parking lot, and I said, oh, my gosh. And back then, there were no cell phones. I went, oh, my gosh, I forgot our tickets. And the kids thought I was joking. And they said, Mom, you didn't forget the tickets. I said, yeah, I really did. I said, but don't worry, we'll talk our way in. So I go, yeah. So we go up to the gate, and I say, I'm Barbara Dooley, and my husband is the coach at Georgia, and I don't have a ticket. I forgot them. Could you let us in? I mean, they went like, duh, we've heard that song before. And I mean, you know, they weren't paying me any attention. And I said, okay. I said, would you do me a favor? The athletic director is really a good friend of mine. Would you call Hootie Ingram and tell him that Barbara Dooley is at the gate and I need a ticket to get in with my family? So I said, sure. They pushed me aside as people were going in, and they call up the press box, and Hootie goes, who? And they said, lady, what's your name? I said, Barbara Dooley. And they go to Hootie, Barbara Dooley. He says, I don't know any Barbara Dooley. I said, Hootie, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And he hung the phone up. Hung the phone up. And they said, lady, he hung up. I'm sorry. And I went, what do you mean he hung up? He hung up. He said, I know you. So I said, okay, what are we going to do, kids? And they said, we're going to stand here till they let us in. And sure enough, 5 seconds later, Hootie appeared at the gate. And I said to the ticket person, see, I wasn't telling the story. He was. They let us see him. But I couldn't believe he told that girl, no, I don't know any Barbara Dooley.
He probably was right near there, obviously.
Oh,
yeah.
mercy.
Yeah.
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 The gatekeeper. Yeah. We've heard this one before. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was a woman, and she looked at me like, dumb. You are dumb. I'm not believing that story. But he finally let us in. So I've got great memories of Alabama, and I'm looking forward to a great game Saturday. And do you like night football?
I do. Night football? I do.
The older I'm getting, Miss Dooley, the more I'm appreciating the earlier starts. I'll say that.
Well, me too. But I will say there's nothing better than, and I didn't know this when Vince was coaching, but there's nothing better now than getting on my pajamas and a glass of wine and turning on the TV. And then if I don't like the way it's coming out, I turn it off and roll over. I'm not coaching anymore.
I imagine there's a few Auburn fans that want to do that maybe last Saturday night.
Poor Auburn. That's my alma mater.
Yes,
And
ma'am. That's why I went there.
Well, I love Auburn, and I hate for them to lose. But they'll be all right. Do you think they're going to come out of this?
Well, from what I understand, you have a master's degree in guidance and counseling. So do you mind guidance and counseling our Auburn fans listening right now, ma'am?
I could coach them. I could coach them. All they have to do is call me.
So, to me, that if Auburn quits turning the ball over, they're not a bad football team. I mean, they're not. I mean, but if they turn the ball over, I don't care who you are. You have 4 turnovers, 5 turnovers, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah.
No.
One year we were playing, and we had the most fumbles of any team in the country in one season. And so one night I said to Vincent, I mean, we had 2 games left, and it was awful. We were just fumbling. And I said, Vincent, I've got the greatest play for you. I've just been thinking about it. And when we have the ball, get your offensive line to turn around and look the other way. And that way, when the quarterback fumbles, we'll be ready to grab it.
I'd like to know what he said to that.
He said, Barbara, I don't need your wise counsel. Thank you.
I don't need your wise counsel.
Was this before or after the master's degree was acquired by you, ma'am?
It was much later after.
I cannot thank you enough for hopping on, spending a little time with us here on. It is a big game week here in the state of Alabama, and I can't thank you enough for hopping on with us.
Always my pleasure. Take care.
Likewise, and continued good health to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
That is Barbara Dooley. I mean,
so if you talk to an Alabama guy about that play,
yeah,
his knees were on the ground when he missed it.
Is that a fact?
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Go watch it.
I may have seen it, but I just don't remember it right this very second.
Go watch it. It's well documented.
And Barbara Dooley.
It was a great call. The execution wasn't very good, and the refs weren't either.
She is amazing.
She's awesome, yeah. But I wasn't about to mention that to her. She might have hung up.
I don't know. She might have.
Yeah. Watch the tape. I'm a take guy.
I'm just imagining Hootie getting the phone call up in the press box saying, boy, I got to deal with this now.
I'm sure that he could see him probably back then.
Well, no. So the Georgia press box, from what I was
He wasn't
told.
at the Georgia game. He was in Tuscaloosa.
Was it Tuscaloosa?
Yes, he said Tuscaloosa. Hootie Ingram couldn't have got her in Georgia if he was athletic director.
The game in 76 took place in Athens.
Yeah, but that's not what she's talking about. The game was in Tuscaloosa, and they wouldn't play Georgia in Tuscaloosa except the 60s. And
I'm just going to say he's right.
Yeah, well, I know I'm right.
Sure.
Hootie Ingram wasn't the athletic director in the 60s. I know that for sure. Because he was playing. Not much before that.
Well, Sam, how's that for a lead-in for you?
Yes.
That's pretty good. Barbara Dooley, she's about as classy as it gets. She's great.
Yeah, she is really good.
Unreal.
Yeah. Her and Terry Saban. I don't know. Are there any others?
I'm sure there are, but there's the two classy first ladies.
They really are.
Program. Yeah.
So what's going on over at Fleming?
Man, we've got this hurricane coming up, and the weather predictions are all over the charts. They're talking about 3 inches of rain on Friday, and it changes every day. But who knows? I'm more interested in this Bama game on Saturday, and that's going to be interesting. And what's going on in Auburn? Who knows? So, Auburn's got to go to Oklahoma after losing to Arkansas.
Wait, no, it's a home game for Auburn.
Oh, it's a home game. Well,
it's a home game for Auburn.
They'll probably dig up the leprechauns for that one.
Yeah, so interesting. Oklahoma's a 3-point favorite. I would think that with a freshman quarterback that you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard Oklahoma's quarterback's not that great, but Auburn can't shoot any worse.
So the difference is Oklahoma has a really good defense, and I don't think California had a good defense, but I just think Auburn's going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I think Auburn's defenses look really good.
At times
not crazy good, but they've looked a lot better in the offense. They got sacks when they needed them last week, but the offense just couldn't pull them through. So
hard to play from behind when they know you're going to throw and you're not very good at it.
Yeah. I was thinking today, I went to that Bama-Georgia game at Bryant-Denny when Zaire and Barker were playing.
That was one of the best games I've ever been to.
Gene Stallings punted with like a minute and a half left in the game, and I was like, what is he doing? And we won the game. And Barker threw for like 470 yards, which...
First of all, Barker, he looked like one of the best. I've watched that game many times. I call it the Cup game.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Cups flying in the air at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Do you know who the defensive backs were in that game that got burned for touchdowns?
No.
Kirby Smart. Truth. Kirby Smart and what's his buddy? Used to be the coach at South Carolina. And
Will Muschamp.
Will Muschamp.
Oh, wow.
They were two of the defensive backs.
That's funny.
That he lit up in that game. Yes.
I couldn't believe it when it was over. They saw the stats for Jay Barker. That guy's never thrown for over 300.
Played unbelievable.
Yeah, it was an amazing game.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was one of the funnest games I've ever been to.
Yeah.
I call it the Cup game because we kicked the field goal and to go ahead, and the cups were flying everywhere. But I want to tell you about Coach Stallings and punting. He loved the punt.
Yeah.
He was a punter.
Yeah.
His saying was, punt and make him go 80. And if you do that enough times, you're going to win the game.
Yeah.
If they have to go 80, because not many teams can do it without making a mistake. And the rules were a little different then than they are now. They didn't. If you broke somebody's fingernail, they throw a flag now. So back in those days, you didn't get many 15-yard penalties. And when you played for Coach Bryant, if you did, you didn't play much.
A minute and a half these days doesn't seem like much time to burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
anyway, that was a great game. So I didn't tell this to Ms. Dooley.
29-28, just for reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great game.
Yeah, great game.
There were Bulldogs all around us in the stadium, woofing the whole time. And, he punted with a minute and a half. I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be bad. They had Hines Ward in that game. I remember that.
Yeah, he was unbelievable as well.
He was great.
Great player.
Not enough people mention Hines Ward.
You're right.
Yeah. Eric Zaire, back in the day, he was like one of the best quarterbacks, and he never really did anything in the pros, which always surprised me. So
yeah, well,
yeah,
that's what happens. That's what happens when you go to the Browns, I guess.
It didn't work for Eric Counts. Yeah,
no. Well, you mentioned about getting ready, and it's a change of seasons as well of just everything that involves what you do for a living there at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Yeah, I mean, if it's got a roof on it, we do it. Commercial, metal, shingles, whatever. We're ready for it. If you got an issue, whether it's a repair or you need a total new roof, we can handle it. So, I mean, we're out there to figure out what you got going on wrong, and not just out there just trying to sell you something you don't need. So, if you need anything, just give us a shout.
So, if you have a roof problem, it's not like you're going to go and say you need a new roof.
No. Yeah. No, I mean, everything can be fixed. Some things, hey, you're going to spend this money to fix it. You really only got about this much left in your life. Sometimes you find some insurance damage that, you might not have known about, some hail damage or something. But, we're out there just to do whatever's in your best interest and not just to, pitch you something that's good for us. So
how can they get in contact with you, Sam?
And they call us at 256-651-9440 or online at FlemingHSV.com.
FlemingHSV.com it is.
All right. Thanks, guys.
You.
Roll Tide, War Eagle.
I'll say go Dogs.
Go to God, Steve. I liked you for a little while.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and take our first time out. Trevor Maddich is in the on-deck circle. I hope Brian's paying attention to me right now. Trevor Maddich is indeed on the on-deck circle, and he's going to join us next.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
It's fall, y'all, and at Woody Anderson Ford, we're ready for it. Football, hunting, hiking, we've got the rides to take you there. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got over 140 F-150s for you to choose from. XLTs, Lariats, all the way up to the Platinum. And right now, you can get $4,750 total cash back on the 2024 F-150 at Woody Anderson Ford. Here in Huntsville, you see more than every day, and there's a good reason. They're the perfect size, do-it-all SUV for lots of folks. I'm talking about our Bronco Sport. From hauling kids and groceries to the spur-of-the-moment camping weekend, the Bronco Sport delivers. Choose from over 80 Bronco Sports starting at just $299 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $34.56 due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends 9/30/24. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Come see us today and make it a Woody Anderson Ford. Hope to see you soon.
Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling sluggish? Gentlemen, Game Day Men's Health. Game Day Men's Health is here to help you. Braden is here. Braden, you've got the answers.
Thanks, Scott. Whether it's low T, erectile dysfunction, weight loss, or a number of other things, we have the solution for them.
It's Game Day Men's Health. Give them a call today at
256-850-1570.
You can find them online.
GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, what man wouldn't like to have tests done in a man cave?
That's right. Come in for your free test and consultation, walk into a world-class staff, a comfortable, relaxed environment, and we got your results in about 20 minutes with appointments less than an hour.
And the big game is always on the TV. It's Game Day Men's Health. Give them a call.
256-850-1570.
You can find them online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com/Huntsville/The Zone.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Just ask anyone. A lion seek you.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, mentioned we've just got way too much. I've spoken with Kalen DeBoer earlier today, as well as Kirby Smart. I did ask that question to Hugh Freeze. I will get to that, but there is plenty to chew on with the latest headlines as well with Trevor Maddich, who's kind enough to join us on loan from ESPN. How are you, Trevor?
Hey, Steve, I'm good. I'm just I'm thrilled and confused and flummoxed and happy about everything that's happened in the start of the college football season. So I feel good, but I'm not sure what I ought to think. It's crazy.
Well, I guess the obvious place to start from a national perspective is what's going on at UNLV with their quarterback jumping out, period, to false promises, whatever you want to believe. But it's also a redshirt deal as well. So there's also that tied into this story of those 4 games that's a reason that at least it's occurring now. What's your thoughts on this story out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Trevor?
It kind of lays bare some of the ugly underbelly of NIL, doesn't it? You know, Matt Sluka is their quarterback, and he transferred in from the FCS, I believe, Holy Cross, I think. So he transferred there, and his story, according to published reports, is that he was promised by the offensive coordinator a $100,000 payment to come.
Yeah.
And when that payment didn't materialize, then the head coach said that, well, that didn't come from me, and so that's not, it's not valid, and I don't know anything about it. And so the quarterback, Sluka, decides, okay, well, forget this then. And he pulled out and he says, I'm not playing here anymore. And so he left the team, left the program. And he's going to take a redshirt year and try to go somewhere else. Now, there's a whole bunch to unpack here. One is just from his standpoint, I can see where he feels like he's been deceived, but I don't think he thought through leaving because where's he going to go that's going to really want him after he just, I'm out of here. I'm abandoning my teammates. I'm abandoning these fans. We're off to a hot start. We might even make the playoff as the highest ranked Group of 5 champion. And but I'm out because you didn't pay me. Right. And so I don't know that he thought that through. But the other side of it is that, especially when this went public, it became a pay-per-play situation, which is against the rules. You can't do that. You know, NIL is supposed to be for the value that your name, image, and likeness has for whatever collective or businesses or whatever will, you know, want to compensate you for that. And for him to say, well, you said I got $100,000 to come here, and then you didn't give me the $100,000. And if you don't give me the $100,000, then I'm leaving. Well, when that came out, it's like, well, then giving you the $100,000 would not be for NIL. It would be paid for play. And it would be paying you to come here or to stay here, not for your NIL. And so that would be in violation of UNLV's internal regulations. It would be a violation of Nevada state law, and it would be in violation of what we have right now for NIL regulations from the NCAA. And so there was nothing UNLV could do at that point but to say, we can't give you that money. You have to talk to the collective and see what happens, you know, with your compensation. He said, no, I'm not going to. So, you know, that I don't think anybody thought that pay-per-play was not happening. But to lay it open like that, you can't just lay it there for the media and the world to see, and then think anything good is going to happen. That they're going to go ahead and now compensate you for what you thought you were due. It's just impossible.
It is definitely unintended consequences, to say the least. And we know we're not going to stay in this pool, but it is getting really dirty. It really is.
Yeah, and see, it's getting dirty in a lot of ways. And there are players now that are suing the Big Ten schools and the NCAA for lack of compensation for NIL for when they played. One of them is Reggie Bush, who now is from a former Big Ten team, I guess, because now USC is doing
I was about to correct you.
So,
That's not a Big Ten team. That's USC.
right. And so now they are. And so, the details on that one are a little murky too, but the principle is not murky. The principle is the continuation of a problem that was allowed to fester into a monster because the NCAA, which is essentially the member schools, the presidents of the universities, etc., let this whole compensation thing not be taken care of. The money got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until lawyers started to get involved. And when lawyers started to get involved, they're incentivized by getting paid these big settlements. And the house settlement is over $1 billion in the billions of dollars, although the details of that haven't been finalized yet, but still the numbers are astronomical. And the lawyers want to get everything they can get. And now these guys that are suing the Big Ten and member institutions, et cetera, they're trying to get a massive settlement like that for themselves. And then, you've got, and the reason this thing has gotten to this point was that the university presidents and the NCAA didn't make it in the bud many, many years ago to have some sort of manner to compensate players for the increasing revenue that they were instrumental in generating. And because of that, lawyers got involved in doing it. Now in the legal system, it's not necessarily what's in the best interest of college football and college football players. It's what is legal and not. And when it comes to legislators getting involved now with different NIL rules in different states around the country, now you've got the interest of politicians that are being served as well. And it's not necessarily in the best interest of college football and college football players. So you've got all these other interests that now have hooks involved that are going to be very difficult to extract, no matter what else happens. Now we'll see what happens with this house settlement, because this is the one where they're saying, okay, they're going to have like a settlement for former players going back a few years and they didn't get an NIL, and then they'll have basically a salary cap where schools can pay players directly, and it's going to start out around $20 million and get bigger from there. How that will be divided between football and other sports and things like that remains to be seen. How the line affects that remains to be seen, but they're kind of moving forward to have direct pay and some sort of a salary cap. And so that's moving forward. And I'm guessing the NIL on collectors and private businesses will still be a thing because it's already a thing, and if you take it away, you can have more losses. And so there's all kinds of stuff, and we don't know how it's going to shake out yet. But when it comes down to it, it's going to get a lot uglier before it gets better because of this new lawsuit by the Big Ten former players.
Yeah, and the 83 teams from NC State suing, they weren't at NIL deals, but collective was going to stay. What I understand is because they're not subject to Title IX. So it's a way to get around not having money be subject to Title IX. So that's why the collectives aren't going away. Change the subject a little bit. Yeah. We have a big game coming up this week here in the state. Yeah, we do. Oh, yeah. And I'm interested to see what you think about this game. Oklahoma Auburn? Well, that's a big game. It's a very big game. But not quite as big as the one in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. This is going to be classic Smash-Mouth SEC football. You go back to last year's game between these two, the SEC championship game, and everything was pretty darn equal. you look at the stat line up and down, you look at all the things that happened in that game. It was pretty much equal. But then there was one difference, and that difference is that Georgia, back up around the, I don't know, wherever they were, tried a little tricky play where it was an end around, and quarterback, Carson Beck, a little cute, trying to do a little mini toss to the wide receiver coming around. And the wide receiver got there a little sooner, I think, than Beck expected him to. The ball ended up being fumbled. And that fumble, didn't lead to a touchdown, even though Alabama got like on the 11-yard line. Georgia stopped it. But what it ended up being was a field goal. And that field goal was the final margin of victory. That's how close they were. One mistake, and all the rest of the 3 hours of football was flat out even. And I expect this to be pretty darn similar.
Yeah. Just growth-wise, though, what have you seen out of Jalen Milroe, the Alabama quarterback?
I think he has been magnificent. I mean, he as a passer, he looks more confident. I think he's taken well to Kalen DeBoer's coaching and his staff. As a runner, he looks faster. He looks like he's a little smaller. Has he lost weight?
Seems that way.
He looks like he's just a player that's taking the next step, physically and mentally, and from a confidence standpoint, et cetera. And so, you look at all those things. His completion percentage is up. He's doing all the things he needs to do, and he especially, in this one single thing, he's developed a great relationship with Ryan Williams on that defense. I mean, Williams, freshman, wide receiver, is he 18 yet, or is he still 17?
He's 17.
Yeah, 17. So I don't think he has any idea that football might be hard. He just years just long touchdowns left to right and cheering crowds, and here I am, my name's Ryan, and let's just do it again, right? That's the way it is. He's just supposed to throw him that ball because they were killing the ball with his offensive Washington featured pass after deep pass, and he's better when to throw that deep pass than Jalen Milroe. So, again, I'm watching for Milroe to continue to improve on the medium passes because those actually require you to read the defense and then to throw with a degree of subtlety in your trajectory. Sometimes you throw a dart, sometimes you have to layer it over a linebacker but drop it in before the safety gets there. Whereas when you throw it deep, you just drop back and heave it over the top of everybody. So that's simple. It's not easy to throw it accurately, which Milroe does, but it's simple to do. And so these are things we want to continue to see him improve on because really that's where the difference for him is going to be as they get into games like this Georgia game and then potentially a playoff run in the defenses that he'll face because it won't be able to be just throw it short or throw it deep and ignore the middle of the field. He has to ignore the middle of the field. He's getting better at that.
And talking to Trevor Maddich right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and I know one storyline has been the first time that we're seeing Kalen DeBoer versus Kirby, but I asked Kalen DeBoer about facing Oregon the last couple of years and how similar it is in what you see between Oregon and Georgia with the Dan Lanning tie. And I remember that second game, the Pac-12 championship game, when we were all writing off Washington and just assuming that Oregon was going to win. And then lo and behold, Washington comes away with the win. I think there's more familiarity there than we're given credit for, Trevor.
I think it's style, too. Dan Lanning, of course, coached defense at Georgia before he went to Oregon. And so there's similarities there in what they try to do on defense, but also in the style, because Lanning is building and really has built an SEC style team in the Pacific Northwest where he's trying to build a line of scrimmage team. The thing about Washington last year is that their offensive line won the Joe Moore Award for the top offensive line in the nation last year. So it was actually a much better line of scrimmage game than I think a lot of people realize as they were watching the fireworks from those two terrific offenses, two first-round draft choices at quarterback. And so, but I think that's something that will help. But at the same time, I think when you get to face Georgia, you're going to see, depending on how the injured guys, Michael Williams and some others up front, you're going to see even more depth running at you with a relentless fury that you just didn't see even with Oregon. Oregon had a terrific starting defensive line. They had some good guys behind them, but the top levels of the SEC, your rotation 2 deep and even 3 deep sometimes is just relentless. And so, this is going to be something that he'll need to deal with, but it's not like it's going to be, unknown to him. I think this Alabama team has really taken well to his style and to his coaching. I don't think the big drop-off that a lot of people thought they'd see after Saban left has materialized yet. And we will see, though, because this will be the first actual major test. And so we'll see whether this one is competitive or whether this one is an actual drop-off for not having Saban there.
So when you look at this game, to me, if you go by, pretty much the same offensive line. The center and the right tackle are different, but I think the right tackle and the center block better on the run. Is
certainly snaps better.
Yeah. Than the last guys. And they whipped the Georgia front last year. They were able to run the ball and take the pressure off Milroe, and then he was able to make the throws when he had to. That's, to me, the key to the game this year. Right? The same thing.
Yeah.
If Alabama can control the line of scrimmage on offense and keep the ball, I don't know. They still might lose the game because I don't know how good the defense is going to be against Georgia. But offensively, I think they will be able to control the line of scrimmage, and I think they'll have a good chance to win the game if they don't turn the ball over.
There's 2 things that are in Alabama's favor to be able to run the ball on the ground. One is the threat of the quarterback run, with Jalen Milroe. The other is, again, guys that are banged up on that defensive front. We talked about Michael Williams, who played linebacker last year. Now he's kind of a hybrid linebacker defensive end as well. So consider him a defensive lineman. That he's a playmaker, just an absolute playmaker. And so, those question marks of injuries and who'll be able to play and how much is one part of it. Another part is Jalen and his ability to run. But last year, when you look at Alabama's running, they pounded the ball. They ran it 41 times last year, but they only had 114 yards. They averaged about 3 yards per carry. They weren't able to do a lot. Jalen Milroe, wasn't dominant on the ground last year, but he did enough. He had a 30-yard run at the end of the game. It didn't lead to anything. It just kind of helped him run out the clock. But even though they didn't rush for a whole lot of big plays and big yards, the fact that they were able to hand it off 41 times and get just enough to be able to move those chains was a massive part of that game. And they're going to try to do the same thing. Especially even with the bye week, it was a very physical game against Kentucky last week with that Georgia defense. And I think Alabama's going to do the same thing where they're just going to pound, go over the top, pound, keep it close, and try to take over in the fourth quarter.
I've only got a couple of minutes left, but I have to ask, at least temperature-wise, Oklahoma coming in with a freshman quarterback off of the loss of Tennessee. Auburn, we've kind of gone over a little bit of what Auburn looked like against Arkansas. What do you think of the matchup between Oklahoma and Auburn this weekend?
Well, the problem for Auburn is, and what could be ugly, is the Oklahoma defense. The Oklahoma offense is a work in progress. I think Auburn has the advantage on that side of the ball. But the Oklahoma defense is for real. It is absolutely for real. And it is disruptive. It's aggressive. It's playing a lot more like the Clemson defenses that Brett Venables had. And now they kind of know what to do. They got some better players up front, and they're really, really good. They got to Nico Iamaleava at Tennessee a couple of times, forced 2 fumbles, recovered them both. And that was even when Nico only dropped back 21 times. They ran the ball and tried to pound it out, 52 runs Tennessee had against Oklahoma. So, this Oklahoma defense is better than the last two defenses, Arkansas and Cal, that Auburn faced. And as you guys know, against Cal, quarterback Peyton Thorne threw 4 interceptions. He got benched. And so then his replacement comes in and starts against Auburn. He throws 3 interceptions, Hank Brown, and he gets benched. And so this defense that they're going to face, whichever quarterback ends up in there, and they'll probably both play, my guess, is going to have to face a better defense than either one of them faced the last 2 weeks. And that's where it could get ugly and that crowd could turn on.
Yeah, we shall see. There is plenty of storylines here in this state for a couple of big matchups on Saturday. Trevor, I can't thank you enough for hopping on, sir.
I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
That is Trevor Maddich from ESPN. We need to take our final time out. I promise I'll try to squeeze in a little bit of audio from today's teleconference, but trust me, I've got plenty for tomorrow as well. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Hey, Huntsville. Looking for action-packed events? The Huntsville Sports Commission is your hub for all things sports. From youth events to national tournaments, we've got events that thrill and inspire. Whether you're an athlete, a fan, or a volunteer, there's something for everyone. Cheer on your favorite teams, witness amazing talent, and be a part of the excitement. Check out our event calendar and get involved at huntsvillesports.com. That's huntsvillesports.com. Be there, Huntsville.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Isolated showers and a few thunderstorms will remain in the forecast for this Wednesday night. We'll see temperatures fall into the low 60s for the overnight. Heading into our Thursday, we'll see scattered showers and storms mainly in the afternoon. Otherwise, we'll sit under mostly clouds. High temperatures topping out in the mid to upper 70s for the afternoon. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Back here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. Talked with plenty of coaches. First up, here's Georgia head coach Kirby Smart.
I wanted to ask about mobile quarterbacks and the just trying to contain mobile quarterbacks. How difficult is it to keep that mobile quarterback in a pocket, and how big of a challenge is that heading into a game where you know the quarterback has explosive capabilities?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, mobile quarterbacks are really hard to defend. They're more and more prevalent. I think the evolution of football has become it's more of a passing game than it was years ago, and therefore defenses have adapted and they try to come after the quarterback, and so the mobility of the quarterback has had to increase, especially in the college ranks and the college level. And it's a challenge to contain mobile quarterbacks. A lot of times you really can't contain them. There's 6 gaps up there if they have 5 linemen. So when you start doing the math, unless you're bringing 6 guys, you don't have the gaps covered. And the guys that you have rushing them are not the same athlete that the quarterback is. So you've got mismatches and open gaps, and that creates an opportunity for a really good athlete to move around and extend plays. So it's tremendously difficult.
And Coach, I know you were asked about your head-to-head matchups with former Bama coach Nick Saban. Looking back on those matchups, what made those matchups so difficult to prep for and win in your perspective? Was it just the talent on the team, the in-game adjustments? What made Nick so good at what he did, Coach?
I mean, we could talk for hours. I mean, development, recruiting, scheme, practice habit. I mean, you go for hours. That makes it tough. But good football players and good football programs are hard to play against. They're hard to compete against. He's got, I think the record speaks for itself in terms of NFL production, number of players in the NFL. Good football players are hard to beat, especially when they play with discipline and toughness, and that's what his teams have always done.
That is Kirby Smart from earlier
the
today.
thing about it is his teams played very good too. They came down to just the end of the game, and I think that it's a little mental as well. I mean, I think Georgia comes in there, and you got to think about the fans, everybody else. When they see that red and white, you got to play for 4 quarters is the key.
Here is my conversation with Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer.
I know a lot's been made about the first time that you're seeing Kirby, but I do wonder the last couple of years facing one of his disciples there in Dan Lanning. Do you see a lot of similarities between and what Coach Lanning is doing out in Oregon and Georgia, Coach?
That's a good question too. I think when I think about as a head coach and just the vibe of the program, I think there is a lot of similarities. And just, the way you're trying to build it, the physicality that needs to exist. And, it starts with who you're recruiting and who you're bringing in. And, but also I think there's, a tough, hard-nosed kind of mindset that they both try to create. And, that starts on the defensive side, I think, for both of them. But, they're both great, smart coaches and understand it's got to be a team game. And so, that mindset, has to be across the team, not just on one side of the ball.
And Coach, do you think we'll see different options at the punt return game? Should that warrant on Saturday, Coach?
Are you talking about who our personnel are?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I don't know if it matters just because they haven't allowed a yard of punt return yardage with their punt game all season, really over the last 2 years. So, but yeah, to answer your question, there's Cole Adams back there, and then Mbakwe's been back there, Ryan's been back there, Jeremy Bernard can be back there. So we do have a host of guys that can go back there that we feel comfortable with, and we'll have to utilize probably a couple of them just even the course of the game, and who's playing a lot of snaps. Sometimes you gotta roll with a couple different guys depending on the moment.
That is Kalen DeBoer. Now, I did ask Hugh Freeze.
I could not help but notice that a former quarterback of yours went to social media, and Bo Wallace, and I was wondering, one, if you saw that, and two, your reaction to what he had to say, Coach.
I'm not on social media anymore. I know that, well, I have an account, but I don't have it on my phone or anything, so I really don't know everything, and that's probably good that I don't. I did talk with Bo, and love him as much as I ever have, and
I don't have time to play the full answer. I will play the full answer tomorrow. How's that for a tease? We appreciate the fine folks here at Baumhauer's for hosting us. No Braves tonight or tomorrow. That hurricane thing got in the way. Good night, everybody.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama.
Alabama!
Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Roll Tide. 45, 40, foot race, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Alabama.
It's time for Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show, live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Let's get out of here again. Alabama wins it.
Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show. He's presented